Good afternoon, almost evening here at Rejuvenate Chiropractic. I wanted to take a minute to make this video because I posted an article earlier today about PCOS. And the article that I printed is Silent Symptoms of PCOS, so 9 signs of hormonal imbalance. For those of you who already know me, you know that PCOS with hypothyroidism, those were the first autoimmune conditions I was diagnosed with back in my early 20s when I was a complete wreck and completely unhealthy. Those were the first 2 things that I was dealing with. So I really have a place in my heart for any woman that is dealing, young woman that is dealing with this, especially because during the time that I was really sick with all the hormonal stuff that comes with PCOS, I was miserable and I was pretty hopeless and felt like I was never going to have babies and that my body was really failing me. So even though you can read the article on your own, I wanted to go through the points with you and kind of convey a little bit of my personal story so you understand why this is so important to me. And share a little bit about myself because I do look forward to meeting more of you who are ready to make a change for the better for your lives and for your health, but especially for those of you that are dealing with PCOS or think you might have it. This article is going to break down a few things for you. So, number 1, so fun right off the bat. Your sex drive is higher than your man's. Okay, this is a tough one, but we're already rolling, so let's just go with it, right? As women, we're taught that our man's sex drive should always be much, much higher and that the man is going to pursue us more physically. But when you have PCOS, as I did, my testosterone was extremely high. So this kept me mostly very angry and frustrated all the time. But it also increases that sex drive. Now, for me, I was in a pretty terrible relationship at the time. So I was really just stuck with being angry and frustrated all the time. And it was like you can't ever get a break from just having so much aggression pent up. And if you're in a loving relationship where your sex drive is much higher, that may embarrass you or may frustrate you, or you maybe don't feel like you're getting your needs met. And frankly, our sex drive should have some ebb and flow throughout the month as our hormones change week to week. So it isn't normal for your drive to just be steady, high, the same all throughout the month, ladies. So if this is one thing that you're dealing with and you're wondering if maybe you have PCOS, yes, that could be a possibility for you. Number 2, feeling fatigue. Fatigue for sure. So now I've actually been blessed to have 2 beautiful babies, so I know what it's like to be a new mommy. But the fatigue that I felt when I had PCOS was pretty darn close to that new mom status. And I'm not joking, not to insult women. Again, I've had babies, so I'm not, not knowing what it's like to have new little ones in the house. But the fatigue with PCOS, and the reason it was so frustrating is because you don't have a new baby. You don't have any reason, or so I thought, didn't have any reason to be as tired and fatigued as I was. Again, early 20s, I should be able to get up and go and be healthy, and that certainly wasn't the case. So fatigue, yes, high fatigue all the time. That was something that was in my day-to-day life that made things slightly miserable. Okay, next one. Ooh, this is fun. Unexpected hair growth on places like your nipples. Okay, yes, with PCOS, unfortunately, you'll start to grow hair in unexpected and unwanted places. The nipples being one for women, upper lip, of course, chin, and in some cases, the hair on the head actually starts to thin. So it's kind of this, double whammy of unwanted hair situation. Nipples, lip, chin, abdomen, and inner thighs. So these are extra places that you may experience hair growth. For me, the doctor that I was seeing, he, I guess, was trying to help me with that situation, but he had me on a birth control, the 90-day cycle to shut down my periods, right? Maybe some of you have heard, like, let's shut down the period, shut down what the ovaries are doing. in hopes that your body will maybe regulate. So the idea was, okay, if you don't have as many periods, you won't go through that female cycle every month, and then you won't overproduce all of these estrogens. And my doctor actually mentioned that my ovaries were over creating my high testosterone. That was his theory. So I was a mess. Anyway, he had me on this birth control, and the next thing that they put me on was metformin. You may have heard of that. That is for insulin resistance. It's also used to manage symptoms with people that have type 2 diabetes. And then the third thing was a super fun little extra tiny little pill. It's called spironolactone. So when I asked him what that was, he said, well, this one is going to help you with your hair situation. And I thought, oh, okay, well, the one thing I kind of have going for me right now is that my hair is still decent. Like, what are we talking about? He said, well, over time, as PCOS progresses and you live with it longer, you're going to start to grow more facial hair. And he actually said, you have very dark hair and light skin, so it's probably going to be pretty obvious for you. So you're going to start to grow more facial hair. You're going to see it under your chin, maybe on your chin. You're going to see it in unwanted places around your breasts and your belly. So this little pill that you can take will help keep you from growing the hair. And he said we actually have great success with it. We use it for patients that are maybe, if they're making a transition, like a transgender situation. For men who transition, they obviously don't want hair on their faces anymore. So we use it for patients like that. And it can also be used for women with PCOS because it will help you, help maintain the look that you want. So hopefully you won't grow this unwanted hair. So super depressing, because the idea was, okay, we're trying to get your body in a position to where maybe you can conceive naturally. So we just have to put you on this birth control for a ridiculous amount of time, the metformin, and now this spironolactone, which I was going to always take, right? You would just take this forever. That was my outlook, again, in my early 20s. Okay, next. Your period is MIA or irregular. We're going to wrap these two together. Or you have really heavy periods. Yes, yes, and yes. So sometimes women will go months without a period and not understand what's going on. Then maybe they're infrequent, irregular, or really heavy. So the really heavy can be really devastating, especially if it comes with extreme cramping and fatigue. And again, it just pretty much makes your life miserable when everything is so unpredictable and it's hard for you to plan, hard for you to function. And these are just, day-to-day things that you're dealing with. If you never know when you're going to start or how long you're going to have it or how heavy your flow is going to be, it's very possible that you could have PCOS. All right, next. I like this one because they're being kind of gentle when they say this. Your pants are tight around the waist. Okay. If there were one critique that I could have about this article, it would be this line. Your pants are tight around the waist. My pants, I was growing a size per month. So there was a 3-month stretch of time when I first got sick and things were so out of whack. My testosterone was off the charts. The doctor actually laughed and said, we hope you don't turn into a man. I guess he was trying to make a joke. Poor form, pal. But that's what he said. And I was growing at a rapid rate. I was growing faster than my wallet could keep up with the new wardrobe expenses because I could no longer wear my clothes. So it was really, really depressing. If you like to shop, ladies, you probably don't like to shop for clothes the next size up unless maybe you're expecting and excited about your trip out to shop. So as you can imagine, this was a really devastating time. I'm watching myself grow. And really the only thing to show for it was this puffy belly that was always unhappy and sensitive and bloated and inflamed. And so tight around the waist, whew, that was an understatement. Okay, next. You're spending time trying to hide acne. Yeah, I've finally passed the teen years, you're on to your 20s, you hope some acne will dissipate for you and you will have that clear skin. And I did not. Acne was no fun, not as bad in some extreme cases that I've seen, but I definitely had acne all throughout the month. Again, unpredictable, always dealing with that, covering up, a lot of makeup, etc. Okay, next, cysts or infertility. Yes, we had multiple ultrasounds done to confirm that my ovaries were covered with water-filled cysts. So that goes back to the puffy appearance of my lower abdomen that just never went away. And the cysts actually prevent, when they cover your ovaries, it's hard for the egg. You have eggs, but it's hard for the egg to get out and get where it needs to go in the fallopian tubes in order for you to conceive. So sure, you have viable eggs, but all of these cysts are blocking the way. And so that we discussed some surgical options that, you know, I may have taken if I wanted to go that route in order to conceive, which I did not, thankfully. Whoa, I did not. And then finally, anxious, depressed, or just feeling yucky. Yeah, when I was dealing with this stuff kind of at my worst, I really thought that I was broken. And I say that now, I can talk about it now without getting overly emotional because I'm just removed from it and so happy that, you know, I'm not dealing with that anymore. But when your hormones are so out of whack, I mean, I felt like my body was failing me. I couldn't do what I was supposed to do as a woman, which was have babies, right? I had wanted that earlier on in my life, and it was looking like a no, not without extreme measures, right? And when you're taking that in and trying to process that emotionally, it was really tough. So, and then the depression that comes with it, not being able to get out of this rut of just being unhealthy and not knowing the steps to take. And, you know, one of the doctors that I saw, he was a general practitioner, so GP that referred me to the endocrinologist. He actually saw a picture of my license in my chart. And the license picture was, gosh, however many, 4 years old at the time. And he looked down at the picture and he said, "Is this you?" Okay, yes, it's me. Not helping, buddy. He could not believe that what he was looking at that moment was the same girl in the license picture. So needless to say, I left that appointment very upset. I found that to be really poor taste and poor bedside manner, but I didn't go back to that guy again. But that's where I was. And so to be dealing with that and be the emotional distress that comes with that is finally, it sent me to the bed. I was unable to work. I got to where I was just so depressed I didn't want to leave the house. And for those of you that have dealt with chronic depression or fatigue or other autoimmune conditions, I know that you've been there. And it's tough. It's not a way to live. It's not a way to function. And I am so thankful that I have now entered into this type of healthcare and the wellness way approach. I've said it before in a previous video, it's literally given me my life back. So I am excited, so excited to share this with patients, especially women that may be dealing with this. If this video spoke to you anyway, if you have any questions, please comment below or feel free to email, call. We do call each other now still, don't we, right? Call the office, text, email, Facebook message, whatever, reach out. I would love to help you and I would love to meet you.